we need to remind ourselves we are living in a very dynamic industry. One technology innovation can really destroy our business model. So as the company grows, it is very natural we become very bureaucratic. More meeting hours, more materials, and so forth and so forth. So we would like to make it, less bureaucratic and more like a small company sort of process.
With only 6 staff occupying a single floor of a small building, it was a modest start for Rakuten. Rakuten Ichiba was launched with just 1 server and 13 merchants. However, their ambitions were anything but modest. They wanted to empower people around the world. It was their belief in the power of the internet and in the capabilities of their teammates that allowed them to dream big. It was a small office. Whenever anyone spoke, everyone in the office could hear what they were saying, so they were always very much aware of what was going on in the company. Everything was visualized on whiteboards, from how close they were to reaching targets or the steps to take in the lead-up to launching a new service and the progress they were making. Every month they changed their seating positions and sorted out the underfloor wiring themselves. Whenever there was a problem, they all dealt with it. And whenever there was a success, they all celebrated. They were like a family, and the nervousness that came from the fact that they were completely responsible for the course the company was taking was all part of the fun. They held meetings every Saturday morning. On weekdays, they were too busy with work, so they met on Saturdays to share their thoughts and discuss how to solve issues. "Let's discuss that on Saturday" became a sort of catchphrase for them, and those meetings became what is now called Asakai. How was the venture spirit of the office in Otago maintained following the subsequent relocations? Let's have a look. In August 1998, Rakuten relocated to an office in Utenji Meguroku. Someone could always be heard discussing something in the large open-plan office space. When someone said, "We need to discuss this right now," everyone would rush to gather around. When they reached their targets, little messages like "Good job" and "Thanks" appeared on the whiteboards. Before launching new services, all of the employees gathered together to listen to instructions. When such tasks were successfully completed, toasts were made late in the night to celebrate. This office was a witness to Rakuten's rapid expansion, and sleeping bags could be seen here and there. In April 2000, Rakuten went public, and in the following month, the company relocated to a new office. Rakuten has suffered 2 major missteps in its history relating to open communication. The first misstep happened right after relocating to the Nakameguro office. The facilities were all newly refurbished and the office space was partitioned into cubicles. But that meant communication suffered. I can't hear what my workmates are saying. I can't keep up to speed with business developments anymore. The partitions were removed several weeks later, and Rakuten once again returned to an open-plan style of office. The second misstep was the day the Asakai vanished. Strictly speaking, they didn't vanish entirely, They were just limited to managerial staff from department managers upwards. But non-managerial staff immediately began to complain, saying things like, "I can't make judgments without information." At Rakuten, where things change day by day, and where each employee is expected to act and make decisions on their own initiative, access to information is vital. After less than a month, all staff began attending Asakai again. Rakuten relocated to Roppongi Hills to take advantage of Tokyo's largest single-floor office spaces, 4,500 square meters. Employees could look right across the entire office space and see their colleagues' faces and hear their voices. Everyone told employees who complained that they couldn't get a hold of their colleagues to just walk over and talk to them. After relocating to Rakuten Tower, the original venture spirit of the Otago office suddenly went global. In 2010, the CEOs of Rakuten Group companies around the world gathered in Rakuten Tower 2 to attend the global strategy announcement. In May, it was announced that English would be made the company's official language. This was the start of the so-called Englishnization project. The company library, which had until then been a peaceful place, was overnight transformed into a jam-packed study room. The boardroom became an English classroom. By April 2015, the average TOEIC score had exceeded the 800-point target. Thanks to this, Rakuten's successes in Japan can be applied overseas, and information about the latest trends now flows into Rakuten Tower from around the world. Rakuten's office style is also now being replicated in offices around the world. Thailand and Malaysia. Large open-plan office spaces. Whiteboards covered in information about work progress and sales targets. France. Asakai meetings are held, and employees can be heard to say, "We need to discuss that right now." And soon, the company will be moving to Rakuten Crimson House. The office will be the biggest in Rakuten's history, and Rakuten's largest ever workforce of 8,500 employees will begin working on the experiment of realizing that small company spirit. Office facilities will be greatly expanded in scope. Almost all of the employees in Tokyo will work in Rakuten Crimson House. The open meeting spaces will be dramatically expanded. Entire walls will be turned into whiteboards. Video conferences will enable staff to communicate with overseas colleagues. Another new office based on the same concept as Rakuten Crimson House has already opened in San Mateo, California.
At Rakuten Crimson House, the ways information is linked together and the ways synergies are created will change greatly. Together, we'll be faster, more intelligent, more creative, more strategic, more powerful, and happier. The relocation is not just about moving offices, this is about Rakuten moving on to the next stage. So come on, let's go to the Crimson House.